Taylor, I think we actually messed up on something that I just realized during this call. And I think it might be the reason as to why we're not converting.
All right, FBI Unfiltered crew, thanks for joining us. I'm here with Rami for a little update with our new product launch. Rami, how are you today, man?
I'm doing well, Taylor. I appreciate the introduction. Let's get rocking and rolling. We actually have our Shilajit listing up and live. Super exciting news. You can see we finally got a review up. This took a little bit longer than we anticipated for Amazon to show up, but we're very happy that it did. A couple of updates that we have going on here besides the review is that we have all images updated and we're just waiting on one, which is our certificate of analysis with the back of our ingredients. That is the last photo that we have remaining that we're still waiting on our supplier to get back to us with the COA. That is like essentially standard of practice for any product, any supplement that you're going to be having in the US. If you're speaking with a US manufacturer that isn't going to give you a COA, it's kind of a red flag. You know, if you're overseas, you're playing a different ball game. But if it's in the USA, that's something to keep in mind. So one of the things that you'll see is that as we scroll down, we actually have not gotten our A plus content up. This is something that we have probably on the agenda for this upcoming week. We should really get rocking on it. There's a couple of things I have to get done with our designer. To get really good A plus content done. Technically speaking, we could have, these images as a filler, which is what sometimes people do. But I do think having more of a sales pitch in the A plus content is big. It's not going to be the thing that's going to make your product go from 0 sales to 100, but it might be the thing that makes your product go from 90 sales to 100. People who will scroll down and read this, you want to be able to sell them. You don't want to waste that space. And you can see we got that review live, like I mentioned. Shout out to Taylor for, having and speaking with this guy who actually was interested in possibly working with us. But he also said, hey, I want to support you guys and buy your product and have my wife, girlfriend, spouse, I'm not sure, give it a shot. And we thank you if you're watching this video. We really, really appreciate the review and the photos. Hopefully they'll be making a big difference because one of the big things that, I've actually preached to Taylor is that you really don't want to be running ads until you at least have one 5-star review on your listing. I kind of just said, screw it, and started running ads, which was a mistake. As you'll see, the conversions were not good. But now that the review is up and live, I'm really excited to see how the conversions, go for the next bit. And the next thing that we actually wanted to show is that if you search Shilajit gummies for women, a couple cool things is that our ad placement is actually in ad position #1. This is essentially like the best spot you want to be in regards to sponsored products. Technically speaking, there is this on top, but this is a sponsored display, which is different. I do think sponsored display is something important to incorporate, but it's not at the forefront of the brand to start off right off the bat. People intuitively still come here first. So being in, ad spot #1 to start, we're obviously paying a pretty penny in regards to cost per click to get this position, but that's actually pretty good. But if you see here for Shilajit gummies for women, we're actually, if we skip over these 5 sponsored, products, we're organic position #3, which is pretty dope. And the reason why that is that our first 4 keywords is that search in the title, Shilajit gummies for women. So it makes sense why we're organically ranking so high for this keyword, although we're not getting a bunch of sales yet. But that's purely because, again, like if you look at all these other titles, like it's not Shilajit gummies for women. But we knew from our keyword research, hey, this is the thing that people are actually searching and buying. So we're hoping that all this work will eventually lead to that stacking effect. But we think that this is a really good, transition to actually go into the ad campaigns and go over how things have been, so far. So first things first, you'll see we have 2 different campaigns live. We have a Shilajit manual test, and then we have a Shilajit auto. And I had it at 50 cents because I was hoping we were going to be able to get some clicks at 50 cents. But then I had bumped it all the way up to like $1, and we're still barely getting any clicks. I think these campaigns have been live for 7 days now, about a week. Not getting much action in the auto campaigns, and auto campaigns are very powerful, right? You want to be getting those clicks just solely because Amazon eventually will actually find the right products and the right keywords to target that you may just miss. So hopefully you want to actually spend a lower bid on it and eventually get some pretty cheap clicks. But you can see here, like I have the bid all the way up to $1.50. I thought it was $1. And we're still barely getting any clicks, which is really surprising. What we can do, which I guess I'll play with this a little bit, Taylor, for you as an update to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with this auto campaign. These obviously it's not worth it at the moment. It's not making a ton of sense. But the one that we have been getting clicks on is the Shilajit manual test. So this is still a broad pay-per-click advertising sponsored display. I mean, sponsored product search. So if we go into targeting, you'll see here are the two targets I'm doing. I'm doing Shilajit for women and then Shilajit. Both under the broad spectrum. The suggested bid is $3.57 and then $2.84 respectively. I have $3 and $2. We are getting clicks here, so I'm fine with that. But you can see after $142 in ad spend, we've only gotten 2 sales, which is, you know, $60. So the return on ad spend is 42 cents on the dollar that we spend, which is not good. But keep in mind that the overwhelming majority of this ad running was with no reviews, right? So it's not like I'm not concerned at this data. I've had many products that's taken me time to really start to scale and rank up and all that jazz. I am going to eventually keep tweaking with this and get it better. But again, just in general, I don't want to make this sound abysmal. It's normal, and ideally, we wanted better performance, which is why we even started the ads without the reviews because we thought, you know, the search volume will be so high that we'll still nail some people. But that just means that we just gotta keep rocking and rolling, and we'll get this done.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a great overview of our ad strategy so far. And if you guys have been following along, I did put out a video on like an initial ad strategy, how to start running ads on Amazon and what the overall strategy is when you first start. And you'll see it's exactly what we're doing here. We're essentially doing like research campaigns, if you want to think of it that way, where we are running ad campaigns, not expecting them to be wildly profitable right now, but running them so that we can determine which keywords we can profitably bid on in the future. And you're just not going to have that data available if you never start, if you never run the ads to begin with. Like Rami said, the auto campaign can be very powerful because Amazon's algorithm is going to be working for you to try to find those out of the way keywords that you might not have thought of that are actually converting for your listing. And then you can go and target those targets in particular later with a higher budget, more focused, and more profitable campaign.
Actually, Taylor, I think we actually messed up on something that I just realized during this call. And I think it might be the reason as to why we're not converting as well as we've hoped. So if we look on our listing, there's one thing that I noticed glaring that I don't know how neither of us caught. Because we've been waiting on the COA image, because the COA image that we were going to do was going to have the back panel of the bag, which shows the ingredients. Dude, we don't have the ingredients anywhere on this listing. Did we not catch that?
I was gonna tell you before the call, but I forgot. But
Oh,
actually,
I mean,
fun.
all right. I mean, this is a really good example. I'm literally going to edit it right now. I have it. It'll be very, very easy. So I'm just going to add a listing, images. That's crazy that we didn't notice that.
I'm glad you caught that just now, and we could show it for everybody. But I will say it's really funny you bring that up because my mom actually asked me that same thing like yesterday. I was over at their house,
No way.
and she was like, "Yeah, what are the ingredients? Like, where are the ingredients? I don't see them." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we were waiting to put we were because I knew that listing image was coming with the back of the
Yeah.
packaging." But we totally forgot to just put up like a placeholder up there before we got the certificate of analysis, the COA, to put alongside it. But boom, there you go.
100%. What position do you think we should put this in?
Ooh, good
Best?
question. I was gonna default to the last position,
I mean, if
but
someone's searching for it, they are going to look, they will go through all the images.
yeah,
So
I think the
I
last,
agree.
I think it works as the last image. All right,
Yeah.
cool, guys. Well, now you saw exactly how to edit a listing live and add a photo. So
Yeah, no, that's actually really crazy. But so hopefully now with the review and having the back panel of the ingredients will lead to better conversions. That actually might be a big reason why it didn't convert.
this is
Um,
really cool, actually. It's like
yeah,
this is like a really cool experiment that we just ran and like you guys, we've talked about split testing before, and this is essentially going to be like a really simple split test because we have a week now of this being live with no ingredients list, and that's what we changed. We just add the ingredients list image, and maybe that'll change something. We'll see.
I hope so, man. To just give an update in regards to where we're at, cost wise, we're at right around $5,171.20 as an update from our previous video. You can see here we went through all the cost breakdowns in the last video, so I won't do that here. But beyond that, we can actually go into our sales and see that we've sold 9 units at the average sales price of $29.99. And then you can see sales, net sales, total Amazon charges, right, which is right there. And then we have the inbound transportation charge, which is what Amazon charged us to get the goods in there. Sponsored products charge, which is our ad spend, which is actually really cool. That's a relatively new feature of Amazon. I mean, not super new, probably like 1.5 years old. But this is like kind of a big deal when it first was released. It was really nice to be able to see exactly where our fees are. our ad fees are per product. And then you have the FBA fulfillment fees, the base fee, the referral fee, which are all the fees that we're used to, leads to a net proceed of negative $91.34, which is again normal, especially when you're factoring in that we've only sold 9 units and it's paying for the entirety of our 360 unit transportation charge, and X, Y, and Z, and all this ad spend. So that's where we're at right now. We're very excited for the future. Hopefully next week, maybe we can do this every single week. I give like a weekly update and
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
my hope too. Yeah, a little weekly update I think would be cool.
Yeah, let's hope for this to be a positive sign next week, right? And we'll just kind of go from there. But I think that's about it on our end.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Rami, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you on the next one.